This will cause a few dents.
Before the video starts, please consider joining the channel as a member. It means a ton and will help the future of this channel. With that being said, prepare for devastation, Earthlings!
Transformations are the most important thing when making Transformers content. This video is intended to get you thinking about how transformations actually work, then implementing that understanding into your own work. This video is designed for those that already have at least a basic understanding of animation. I won't be going over how animation tools work, just how some of them can be used to help with transformations. I can't tell you how exactly to do every transformation either. That would kind of defeat the point of animating Transformers yourself. So this video will showcase the methods used for making transformations work, showing some examples, and wrapping up with some more specific tips and pointers. Make sure to leave any questions in the comments down below. I mainly work in Source Filmmaker as a software, so the intent here is to show you how transformations work specifically in SFM. However, a large number of tips in this video should help in other software regardless. I'll start by breaking down the different methods that can be used to make a transformation work. The straight swap method, the action figure method, and the ideal method. These are just names I've personally come up with to help isolate and break down different transformation pipelines. Deciding which of these methods to use depends on the models themselves, so I'll outline what elements to look for in each section respectively. The straight swap. This method is used when the models don't have many bones in their rigs, so animating a transformation with moving parts isn't really possible. Basically, all you do is replace one model with another. This can be done using model scaling. This is the method I recommend avoiding, as you end up with less than ideal results. Simply replacing one model with another results in a very obvious transition that can easily break the viewer's immersion. However, it can work under very specific circumstances. Using visual trickery to make a transformation believable is ideal. This method can work when the character is moving at high speeds and then the robot is thrown out of the alternate mode. The speed can mask the transition. Combining this with motion blur and the right camera angle can make this method work, but realistically, if it can use one of the next two methods, that would be much more effective. The action figure method. This method of creating transformation is the simplest to get working effectively. On the odd occasion, a transformer rig might have all the parts necessary to transform without the need for a second model. Unlike actual action figures, there won't be an instruction manual, so you'll have to work out how to get all the parts into the correct positions for the alternate mode. But once keying the initial mode and then the alternate, the model will move from one mode to another. Simply add the in-betweens, and you'll end up with a solid transformation without having to mess around with model scaling or cutting the shot. The ideal method. As the method name would suggest, this is my personal preference for creating a transformation. This method is used when you have a robot and alternate mode model. Neither has all the parts necessary to use the action figure method, but both models have a solid number of bones in their rigs. The more parts, the better. Basically, over time, using scaling tools, the parts from one mode will disappear and the parts from the other mode will appear, effectively enabling you to pull one mode out of the other. When animated with precision, a transformation like this can be very smooth and make it seem like the two models are one. This is my favourite method to work with, as it enables the most creative freedom, in my opinion. With the three methods now outlined, I want to go over some examples of transformations from official media and then break them down a bit. This will enable you to see what to aim for and what to avoid in your own work. Pay attention here to how Optimus Prime transforms. Look at how the Autobot logo appears on a different side of the arm without the arm actually turning. Look at how the wheels disappear as it becomes the robot mode. Now look here at this version of Optimus Prime. Look how the truck bed disappears into the legs, seemingly going nowhere. Also look at some of the other details, how parts disappear into the back, or over the shoulders for example. These transformations for Breakaway work much better in my opinion. There is so much movement as the jet spins or bursts forward, helping to really disguise the transition between models. All of that isn't to say any of the transformations shown are bad. They're really good for the most part, especially considering they are meant to be viewed from every angle. It's just to say that noticing some of those small details can be slightly off-putting for the viewer, so be fussy where necessary when animating transformations. I'll now go over some tips to consider when creating your own transformations. Again, I'll show examples of what I'm discussing to make understanding easier. As mentioned earlier in the video, speed and motion blur. Do everything you can to hide the messy parts. Make parts disappear behind other parts or out of frame if the camera is really close to the models. You can even make the camera shake where appropriate. If a character slams their fist or foot into the ground, making the camera shake in response can provide an easy opportunity to hide things that are hard to animate properly. Sometimes, models provide you with almost enough parts for what you want, but are missing just one or two extra bits. There's nothing stopping you adding models out of the camera's view and then taking parts from them to use. Just be careful about where you put the model. Consider where the camera will be pointing for the rest of the shot, and lighting. Make sure the lighting is the same as the lighting on the actual models the camera is focusing on. Consider how your transformation is going to be seen. If you are doing one that needs to be seen from multiple angles, you'll need to make it work from all of them. But if you are just going to be using one camera angle, only make it work from that one. Transformations can take hours upon hours to make work, so if you can save time without compromising the intended quality, go for it. Upon mentioning camera angles, keep going back to view your work from the intended camera angle. If you don't, and keep working in the work view for ages without checking, you might find the transformation works, but from the wrong angle. If using the ideal transformation method, try to make parts go somewhere that they look like they belong. So, if both models have doors visible, try and line them up. If using the action figure method, consider that there might still be an alternate mode version of that character, even though you don't need to use it. If there is one, it can be used as a reference for getting the robot into its vehicle mode. When moving parts around, don't just have a transformation suddenly stop. Make it slow down a bit. Make it feel like the last few parts fall into place, completing the transformation. This results in a more satisfying and complete feeling, as the rest of the transformation may have been less comprehensive. You could always cheat completely, and not bother transitioning the models at all. Animate one model moving into a pose, cut the shot, change the angle completely, and replace the model with the other in a similar pose. This method cuts out most of the effort needed and works really well when done right. When scaling a model down to make it disappear, be careful of where the root transform ends up. If not centered inside another model, you may see the model scaling down. After animating a movement, you can copy and paste the last key to make it feel more like the part is snapping into place. After doing this, or animating any part in general, try to avoid keying it again if you don't intend on animating it further. This avoids any chance the part may start moving when you didn't intend for it to do so. If scaling down a part on screen, try to make it scale down fast. Making it scale down slowly will be obvious to the viewer and break the illusion. Don't overdo it. Simple models need simpler transformations. The Devastation models, for example, transformations will not work if you try and do too much with them. Final tip: sound design. Make sure the sound you use hits the key moments of the transformation. If the character slams their foot into the floor, make sure you hit that key moment. If your sound design doesn't fit, a great transformation can easily be less impactful. Ultimately, there are so many things I could say about transformations, but realistically, practice makes perfect. It isn't going to work perfectly first time, like animation as a whole really. Making transformations takes a lot of effort and understanding, so have patience and feel free to share your work with me in my Discord server. I'm always happy to give feedback and try to help. You can always leave questions in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. I hope this video helps with the transformation work. And with that being said, thanks for watching.